Jocelyn, but I go by Taz. This is my girlfriend, Brittany. We own Lab of Legends together, us and our kiddos. So if you guys ever come work out with us or come kind of intern with us, you'll see we have a 1-year-old and we have a 11-year-old. And we are expecting another baby in 8 weeks. So life is busy for us, okay? Today is all about where passion meets purpose, all right? Where passion meets purpose. So and I started off last time, so I was just here in September, did this with last semester, so I'm glad to be back again, to be able to do this again, because I really want to be able to help you guys out, because when I was your age and your position, okay, I was not as far along as you guys are. All right, I went to school to be a broadcast journalist. I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be an announcer on Sports Center. That's kind of what my vision was. That's what I wanted to do, and kind of life kind of took me down a path here and there, and it led me to where I am now, and I kind of wouldn't regret it for anything. All right, so first thing, this is what we're gonna do, okay? Everybody put the pencils down. All right, I want everybody to close your eyes. Close your eyes. You guys don't have no cares in the world, so keep them closed. You don't have nothing to worry about. I just want you to envision what I'm getting ready to tell you about, okay? So we're gonna fast forward 10 years from now. All right, fast forwarding 10 years from now. You are getting ready to walk on the stage. You are the keynote speaker for a very high level event. The who's of everybody in your industry is there. Whether it's physical therapy, whether it's chiropractor, whether it's athletic training, whether it's strength and conditioning. Okay, all the who's are there. All right, I want you to envision what you're getting ready to talk about. Okay, just think on that for a second. I want you to think about all the things that you had to go through to get to this point. Keep your eyes closed. How you look? All right, do me one favor. Everybody open your eyes for a second. See, I'm going to show you how we do stuff in my gym already. All right, raise your hand if you walked here today. All right, perfect. Give me 10 push-ups, please. Knock them out. Yeah, my gym, we do punishments. Everybody else had to walk and they made it on time. Is he going all the way up? Yeah. All right, cool. All right, good. Appreciate it, bro. You go ahead and have a seat. All right. Everybody's go back, closing our eyes. What's your name, bro? James. James? All right, James. So what we're doing, we're closing our eyes. We're envisioning our lives 10 years from now. We are the keynote speakers at a really big event. Okay, whatever your industry is, whether it's strength conditioning, athletic training, chiropractor, physical therapy, whatever it is, okay? So now go ahead and close your eyes. All right, now, everybody else, you've had time to think. Now I want you to think about what are 3 things that you had to do to get to this point to be able to get on this stage. What were 3 things that you had to do? All right, keep your eyes closed. Once you get those 3 things in your mind, okay, I want you to write them on your paper. All right, on that piece of notebook paper that you have out, I want you to go ahead and write those 3 things. 1, put what it is. 2, put what it is. 3, put what it is. Go ahead when you're ready. And once you do those 1, 2, 3, go ahead and put your name on top of that paper for me too. Preferably a complete sentence. Please. I like this classroom better. Get to walk around and look.
It's not 130 degrees in it.
Oh man, yeah. With construction going on.
Yeah.
I was watching that video this morning. I just didn't realize how much construction is going on. And I'll give you about another minute or 2 to go ahead and finish that. There's no right or wrong answer. But you guys are going to realize with what I talk about today, things like this, manifesting and envisioning, it is a huge part of the process. about 1 more minute. So what we're gonna do before we get started, I am going to ask, what time is this class over with? Sorry.
Oh, geez, caught me off guard. 320.
3:20? Oh, I won't say.
No, 220. 220. Sorry.
2:20.
No, 250.
2:50.
It's one of these. 250. Got it.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. One person, I want you to stand up. You're gonna tell us your name. You're gonna tell us what your desired field is, and you're gonna tell us what one of your things were. Nominate yourself because you don't want me to pick you. Somebody? Anybody? Everybody? I can do it. There we go.
My name is Caleb. My desired field is to be a chiropractor, and one of my things was schooling for chiropractic school.
Chiropractic school. Okay. Next, we get a lady. Last class, the ladies were the ones that were leading the conversation. Ladies, get one of you. I'm gonna pick you. Yeah, go ahead.
My name's Lily, and one of the things on my list was graduate college, and I want to be a nutritionist.
Okay, nutrition, like it. Last one, anybody? I'll be honest, I was gonna call you anyway, just because I know you.
My name's Fitzy, and my profession is to be like athletic trainer. And so one of the things I put is that I had to work after college in order to like reach the level where I would be considered like a keynote speaker, like to be like respected enough to be a keynote speaker. I want to be to this.
Good. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, I'm not gonna try to just read. I'm not gonna try to be long-winded. Okay, this is so you guys know when I talk, when I present, everything is just off the heart with me. I got a structure, but I just want to make sure you guys get something out of this. Okay. All right, here we go. So just to start off, all right, give you a little bit of background about me. So at 19, I was an Atlanta kid balancing diaper changes and film study under the glare of college stadium lights, fresh off becoming a first-time dad, laser focused on carving out my own legacy. Okay, so coming out of high school, I went to the University of Alabama at Birmingham. I played quarterback, played football there, transferred shortly thereafter, but that's kind of how my journey started, okay? That very first weight session, squeezed between late night feedings and endless drive time film breakdowns, drove home one truth. Purpose isn't handed to you, it's forged when pressure is at its peak, okay? From smashing NJCAA records at Trinity Valley to dropping 9 touchdowns in a single game with the Massachusetts Pirate, every grind session, an early morning lift, I ask myself the same question: what are you here to build? That is something that I challenge all of you to ask yourself every day. Okay, what is my purpose? What am I here to do? Okay, show of hands, how many of you are not from the Midwest? Okay, question: what are you here to do? Why are you here at Morningside University?
Grow my swimming career.
All right, grow your swimming career. Perfect. All right. That question led me to launch Lab of Legends, a place where we don't just train athletes, we ignite legends. Here we take college athletes and turn them into WNBA draftees. We transform hungry underdogs into NCAA All-Americans and Junior All-Americans, and even craft the quarterback movements that movie stars bring to life, like in Jordan Peele's movie Him. We'll talk about that a little bit later, okay? Every drill is a challenge to shatter limits. Every plan is a promise to push you beyond what you thought was possible. Today, that vision lives in Lab of Legends, a gym and foundation built on individual first approach, big city resources, and hometown heart. We dive deep into your goals, movement history, and lifestyle to craft blueprints that turn local talent into legends. I'll leave that there. We'll keep moving on. All right. So just to give you a little bit of background about me, my educational background. Okay. So Trinity Valley, where I competed, junior college, that's where I got my associates, like I talked about. I wanted to be a sportscaster. I wanted to be on TV. Got my associates in broadcast journalism. Went on to play at a Division II from there at Limestone University, where I graduated with a bachelor's in general studies. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I was that guy right after I got my associates. It was like, all right, I'm going to the league. I don't care about nothing else. My goal was to go to the NFL. Anything else to me, I was like, all right, I'll worry about it 5 years later down the road, okay? Why am I not in the NFL? Funny story, okay? Being a dad was the main thing on my focus at the time. So I'll give you a little background. failed a college class that summer going into my last year I was in college. I was a starter going into it. Division II school, we were supposed to play East Tennessee State University. It was their first year of having a football program. And we found out 2 days before the first game that I could not play that season because I failed a summer class. All right? So adversity kind of put me in a spot where, okay, what are you going to do? Okay? What is the next step? You guys going to understand when you have kids. All right? When you have kids, man, you don't got time to sulk. You don't got time to, be mad about things. You got to figure it out. All right? Because life goes on. All right? Additionally, I went to Ron Clark Academy, and this comes up later, but the Ron Clark Academy is a middle school in Atlanta, Georgia, very prestigious middle school. So by the time you graduate, you would have been to 6 of the 7 continents. Okay, so I was only there for 1 year. In that 1 year, I went to London, Paris, Amsterdam, Utah, New York, and Washington, D.C., all in 1 year as a middle school kid. Okay? Continuing on, my certifications, my first personal training certification came from ISSA. Went on to get one from NASM, as well as a nutrition certification from Fit Body Bootcamp. And then through my experience, I've attained other things here and there, but those are kind of the main accolades of what I've accomplished so far. All right, moving on. All right, so next is kind of my journey and my milestones. All right, so like I talked about, when I was at Limestone, I left. I had to figure out what I'm going to do next. Okay. That transitioned me 2018 to a YMCA back in my hometown of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Okay, I love my journey because at that YMCA, what is the first word you see up there? Anybody say it? Front desk associates. Right? Anybody ever been to a YMCA? You know how when you go to the YMCA, you gotta give them your card and they scan you in. Okay, that was after college. That was the very first job I had. I had to start all the way over again. Some of you understand this, right? You used to be the top dog at your high school. As soon as you go to college, you're now what? Anybody? What are you once you go to college from high school? Nobody knows? Nobody remembers that feeling? Yeah, you're nobody all over again. 4 years in high school, you built yourself up to be this person, and then now you're like a little fish in a big ocean. You're starting all the way over again, okay? But within 2 months, I got promoted to membership sales associate, okay? By month 5, I got promoted to a lead personal trainer, okay? And this is kind of where my training career kind of took off. My very first one-on-one client, I coached a 6th grader. Man, little man was probably about 5'2". He was, man, tiny. He went on a PR and won the county county long jump. 6th grader was beating 8th graders who were like 6'3", big kids, and he went on to beat them. Okay? Purpose. 2019, I went on to work for Peloton. All right, everybody knows Peloton, the bikes. Honestly, I thought that was a really cool job because it got a chance to help me expand my network. One thing we're going to talk about today is network. Okay? Network. It's a word you hear adults talk about all the time, but it is so important. Okay? Sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Okay? You guys are going to learn that so much as you go through your professional journeys. Okay? Because you're all going to work for somebody at some point where you feel like you know more than them, but they know more people than you do. Sometimes that's just what it comes down to. That's the world we live in. Okay? 2020, okay? COVID hit. All right? And I like to talk about COVID a little bit because COVID was a time for adults, and these two attest to it. As adults, we all had to pivot. We had to figure something out. You know, I think COVID is a time where everybody lost something, whether it was money, whether it was resources, whether it was loved ones. We all lost something. All right? But the question was, coming out of it, what could you gain? What could you come out of it with? All right? Brittany, you want to share your COVID story quick, please, babe?
Sorry, I'm just taking a drink. During COVID, before COVID, I was working with my family. We have an optical business in North Sioux, and everything shut down. So I decided to apply for nursing school, and I became a nurse.
She's not just a regular nurse, though, guys. She's an ER nurse. Yeah, so she comes home with the craziest of craziest stories of things that have happened. All right, so like we said, COVID was a time where we all had to pivot, okay? COVID for me was a time where I kind of got a job that showed me, okay, you got a gift, you got a passion for something, and if you put some energy, some serious time into it, you might be able to surprise yourself, okay? So that led me to work for a company called FastTAD. It was Fast Training and Athletic Development. Okay, my role was a movement specialist, sports-specific coach. I trained over 10 different sports. Some sports I had never even learned before. Never even heard about them, and I had to just kind of go home, do some research, figure out the movement patterns kind of thing. But through my job there, I launched a speed and agility class. So within my first month, that class went from 5 athletes to 25 in 1 month. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that is a very hard thing to do, okay? Because not only do you gotta retain those kids, because you all will learn in business, right? New people come. What are you gonna do to retain them? What are you gonna do to keep them coming time after time after time, okay? As well as I oversaw the draft prep for a WNBA draftee named Nadia Jones. She is still Texas A&M's all-time leading rebounder. We still talk to this day. And as well, got a chance to work with some NFL cornerbacks like J.C. Horn, A.J. Bouye, Caleb Downs, he'll now be on his way to the NFL. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as well, okay? Moving on, 2021, okay? So I didn't talk about this. I played professional football. Funny thing is, after I decided to leave college, okay, I had to figure out what I was gonna do. So I started working at the YMCA, but I still had this dream. I wanted to play professional football. What can I do to get myself back to that journey? Being a junior college athlete, I know what it's like to start from the bottom. I don't mind starting from the bottom. I believe in myself enough, I'll start from the bottom time after time after time, and I guarantee you I'm gonna come out on top above some other people that might have started at the top. That's the belief that I have in myself, that's the belief that I have in my work ethic. Okay, so what I did was, while working at the YMCA, I continued to train, and I went to some CFL workouts for Canadian League, got some opportunities there, and then ended up getting an opportunity in Tucson, Arizona with an arena football team called the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Went on, played with them, ended up playing in North Dakota, kind of COVID happened, and then next thing you know, I get a call from the Sioux Falls Storm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. At the time, they were the New England Patriots of arena football. It was a no-brainer for me. I decided to take it, okay? So that led me to 2021. I'm working at Great Life, okay? Personal trainer, group exercise instructor, membership services, things I already had experience with. In my first 30 days as a trainer, I was able to generate over $3,000 in sales, okay? So you guys, that sounds cool. You go open your own business, you understand like, hey, yeah, that $3,000 in sales is needed because that $3,000 in sales is how you're gonna put food on the table. All right, very, very important, okay? But also through that, I was able to start building my network. I was able to start building myself up. I was able to start putting myself at a level where I became respected and now people wanted to come to me. I didn't have to necessarily go search for people, okay? I was featured in the Sioux Falls Business Journal multiple times, and my client range from 5 years old to 75 plus. All right, 2020, pivoted to Fit Body Boot Camp, all right? So what you're gonna start seeing is every job I took, the next job was one step up. It taught me a skill. It taught me something that I would kind of struggle with, okay? I learned at Great Life, I struggled with like client interaction, like keeping that up, right? It's cool to have 30 clients. Can you keep in touch with all 30 clients? Can you make sure all 30 clients are booking their times and showing up week after week? Can you make sure that those 30 clients are paying? All right? We all love to train people. I love when they show up, but yeah, go look at those books. And they've been working out for the last 3 weeks, but they only paid for one of those weeks, right? So that it kind of showed me that I had some stuff to learn. Okay, working at Fit Body Bootcamp, one, it made me a little bit more comfortable teaching in group environments. So Fit Body Bootcamp's a HIIT class. Basically, I'm on a mic. There's like up to 60 people in the room, and I'm leading 60 people through a workout with the mic on, sweating the whole nine, and it kind of made me more comfortable. But it taught me the next part that I need to learn: nutrition and client interaction. Okay, so at Fit Body, personalized macro-based nutrition coaching for 10 to 30 clients. Those clients directly work with me. They didn't work with anybody else in the gym. They directly work with me. Okay, and it helped many lose 30 pounds in just an 8-week period. But most importantly, I kept running into this railroad again. Right, my higher ups are, man, we love what you do. We love your energy. Kept winning Employee of the Month. But man, we keep going into your backlog. You haven't reached out to clients this week. You haven't reached out to this client in a week and a half. It's like, yeah, I know, but I'm still doing good. They're hitting their numbers. That's how I thought at the time. It's like, oh, what's wrong? We're getting results. No, it matters, right? When it comes to finances, and making sure the money is coming in, the revenue, it matters, okay? All right, then 2023, okay, brought me down here to Sioux City. I played for the Sioux City Bandits at the time. Shortly after the season, has anybody ever heard of Impact Physical Therapy and Wellness? All right, cool. I'm gonna be honest, for you guys that are athletes, I would encourage, especially if you're from here, I would encourage you guys to kind of look them up. They have access to some really incredible recovery technology, okay? So everybody remember a few years ago when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles, right? Remember he was walking months after? So the same technology he was using, remember LeBron fractured his foot years ago and still was able to play in the playoffs? Same technology that they use to get themselves ready, that's the same technology that Impact Physical Therapy has. Okay, funny story about that is I fractured my kneecap. My kneecap was probably about this big. Like literally, it was so swollen. I would come home and like she'd be poking at it and it's just moving all over the place. I missed one game that season. I played every single week with a fractured kneecap. We play on Saturday, I rest Sunday, Monday through Thursday, I'm in Impact Physical Therapy every single day, getting myself back ready. Okay, but for me, it wasn't like, as a professional athlete, you get access to those things, but for me, it was about building my network. Like, man, this guy has access to this incredible technology, and he's willing to help me out. Like, let me develop a relationship, right? Relationships. I don't even like to say networking. Let's not even say networking. Let's say relationships, okay? Because when it's networking, it's just passing by. It's coming and going. Relationships, it's like I cannot talk to you. If we have a relationship, I cannot talk to you for 3 months. But because we have a relationship, guys understand this. If you don't understand it now, you will. He'll probably tell you. He got best friends. Your best friend, when the last time you talked to him?
Last week?
All right, before then, last time.
Probably a month.
There you go. But now, once you guys get on that phone call, it's like you never missed a beat, right? That's what it is, the difference between a relationship and networking, okay? But while working at Impact Physical Therapy, I was a gym manager. So they physical therapy clinic that opened a gym. I helped them open a gym from build out process on. That's gonna come back very important for my next job. Okay, so from build out process, from how we're gonna lay this gym out, what kind of turf we're gonna get, what kind of equipment are we gonna get, what do we need to have in here? I oversaw that whole operation, okay? Also, hiring process, payroll, scheduling, social media, marketing, community engagement, directed some KCAU commercials that we did, okay? Like it was so many things that I had to do, but no, like I said, every job gave me more skills, okay? And that prepared me for my next thing, okay? Late 2024, Lab of Legends was founded. My gym, the gym was already, we already had the training service, but the brick and mortar gym was finally founded, okay? Now, through this, I was able to turn the dream of an athlete-driven, purpose-built training facility and community into reality. Okay, we officially launched in 2024. January 1st of 2025 is when we officially open our doors for business, okay? And then through 2025, after the opening of our gym, became the lead strength and conditioning coach at Western Iowa Tech. So there we have 4 different sports. I oversee the strength and conditioning for all 4 of those teams. And we'll talk about that a little bit more, all right? But also at the bottom, so I talked about with Round Clock Academy of being able to travel around the country, okay, that last sentence. So what's cool about at WIT, okay, most of our students are foreign, okay? So out of four different teams, we probably represent at least 30 different countries, probably at least 17 different languages. Now, raise your hand if you had to go teach 17 different languages how to do karaoke. Would you be able to do that confidently? If you had to go teach 17 different languages of how to do a glute bridge chest press, do you feel like you could do that comfortably? Right? But that's where my experiences started to come into play. Okay? Being able to travel around the country, around the world, at Round Clock Academy, having to learn. We didn't just go on these trips. You had to take tests to be able to qualify to go on these trips. You had to know information. It kind of put me in a position where, okay, you can throw me anywhere in the world. I'll come out on top. I'll come out as myself. All right, moving on. All right, so this is these are a few things sports-wise that we were able to accomplish before we opened the gym, okay? So this is all kind of pre-2025. Okay, so for me, basketball, I went on to train I think it ended up being 6 WNBA clients. I had NCAA All-Americans, had some junior All-Americans, I had some state championship victories, and went on to train 10 plus Division I athletes in basketball. That's men's and women's. Volleyball, went on to train, it was 7 Division I commits, All-Americans and conference champions as well. Soccer, had some collegiate standouts. My most notable story was soccer. I had a young man that came and trained with me when I was in Atlanta. He came to me and was not a starter. We trained for a month and a half. He went back, became the starter, and made the game-winning goal in the conference championship game. Just hard work. That's all it takes, guys. Football, all conference athletes, all state, district champs, some nationally ranked quarterbacks. Track and field, I have one lady, she herself has went on to win, I want to say 17 Junior All-Americans under my training. She probably holds over 30 at this point. She's been a Junior All-American probably since she was 6 years old. She's just that incredible. All right, but we also have some state champions and some national exposures. Pretty cool at my gym. I had a young lady who's a high jumper. She's from the middle of nowhere, Iowa, as I like to call it. I say it wrong all the time. Is it River Valley? All right, I always say Rock Valley. She's from River Valley. She is now signed to go compete Division II at Newberry College in South Carolina. Okay, a young lady who thought she had no chance to do that, trained with me for a month and a half. Next thing you know, the offers start rolling in. Okay, wrestling, we have some state placers. Baseball, softball, I've been a part of a handful of youth World Series champions, state championships, all state athletes, all conference, all that good stuff. In golf, 3 plus Division I athletes, have athletes that are competing right now at Ole Miss, UGA, and there's one more at Clemson. All right, so now we're gonna start talking about Lab of Legends, okay? Now, Lab of Legends, our mission, okay? The mission here at Lab of Legends, okay? At Lab of Legends, we know greatness is not stumbled upon. It is deposited daily. Small, consistent investments in effort, discipline, and character compound into extraordinary performance, where daily deposits become legendary withdrawals. On the daily, there are 3 things that I group into our mission that we strive to do every single day. I want to build better athletes, I want to build better people, and I want to build a better community. One more time, I want to build better athletes, I want to build better people, and I want to build a better community. Okay? So, regardless of what your field is, okay? I don't care if you want to be a chiropractor, I don't care if you want to be an athletic trainer, okay? It's not just about the athlete, it's about the person. Okay? When you're able to make that connection with people, that's why we talked about relationships, right? Networking is just a title. Like, hey, I'm this title, you're that title, we're networking amongst our titles. When we build relationships, we're connecting amongst people. Okay? All right? But when you're able to connect with people, I promise you, you're going to see your profession, you're going to see your career take off to a whole nother level that you've never seen. Okay? And we laughed about this last time. I love my job, I love my field, especially all of our fields that we want to do. When you take care of your people, they will take care of you. I guarantee you that. I can't tell you how many times I got Christmas cards with $100 bills in it. I'll never forget when I lived in Atlanta, my eye was bugging me one day. Turns out I had an eye infection. One of my kids that I trained, his dad comes in, he's like, man, what's wrong with your eye? I didn't even know Dad was an eye doctor. He looks at my eye, he's like, oh man, where do you live? I'm gonna write you a prescription. I was like, huh? Turns out he got me a prescription for some eye drops. Eye infection was gone in 2 days. You know what I mean? Just about when you take care of people, right, and you're not looking for nothing in return, they will take care of you every single time, okay? We are in a service-based industry, okay? We are providing services, okay? These are services, which means people have a need, we are dedicating or we are catering to that need, all right? We have to remember that, all right? Along with that, we execute this mission by bringing big city resources and elite training principles right into our local backyard. We're more than reps and sets, we're architects of resilience, confidence, and collective momentum. Every drill, every workshop, every community event is designed to elevate individuals and knit them into a culture that outlasts any single workout. All right, Fitzy, I gotta pick on you just because you worked out at my gym a few times. Describe the experience of training at my gym.
Definitely like max effort, high intensity, like really focus on like every single like thing you do like matters, and you gotta do it to the best of your ability. He's not gonna let you do half-ass or like slack or do lighter weight that he knows that you can. If you do, he's gonna get on you. So
I don't bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, I don't bullshit. Okay? Now I gotta put 50 on the spot. 50, what is my number one rule? There's push-ups attached to this if you don't remember.
I don't know. I think you got a few of them.
That's fair, I do. The first word is always.
There's numbers in it.
I don't know.
Always give.
Oh, what was it? 110%?
Thank you. That's the most important part. Always give 110%. Can anybody tell me why I don't want 100? Anybody? Just give me an educated guess. I could always say, just give me 100%. I always want 100%. Go ahead.
Because like everybody's giving 100% and you want to do more than 100%.
Exactly. 100, that's the bare minimum. Effort's non-negotiable. That's whatever you decide to do in life. Your effort is non-negotiable. Okay? Like, that's one thing I need all of you to understand right now. Whatever it is that you want to be, you want to do, your effort's non-negotiable. You got to be your biggest motivator every single day. Everything that you do, you got to be your biggest motivator. Now, raise your hand if you're an athlete. In here. Raise your hand. Raise my hand too. Cool. All right. Did you raise your hand?
Sorry.
I said you work out probably more than half of them do. But here's the thing, okay? As an athlete, how often do you feel like 100% going into a game? Anybody can answer.
Not very often.
You don't, yeah, not very often. Okay? Now, if you only say, all right, I'm gonna go into this giving 100, when you run out of 100, what you gonna do? 2 minutes left to go, and at the end of the game, you've already given 100. What you gonna lean on now? At Lab of Legends, we work on building that 10%. Okay, that's my biggest thing that I work on. I want to help you build that 10% past 100, and honestly, we're probably gonna end up building 20, 30, 40, and 50% past that 100. Right? Because when you hit a wall, there's always a little bit more to go. Okay, it's always a little bit more to go. All right. Here we go. Pillars of impact. Okay, so at our gym, the culture that we establish here, we always kind of try to make sure we establish at least 2 of the 5 pillars of impact. Okay, the first one is precision customization. Okay, we start with you. All right, we start with your goals, your movement history, your grind. So like, I want to know, how often do you work out? What are the injuries that you had before? I want to know all of that stuff. Okay, in order for me to build you up, I need to know everything. Okay, all right. Through in-depth assessments and constant communication, we tailor every plan to see real-world carryover from weight room to game day. All right. So like we talk about the in-depth assessments. Okay, so I use an app at my gym called Demotu. Pretty cool app. And honestly, it started off as networking, turned into relationship building. I met a guy on Instagram. He has like 130K followers, right? You know how we see those guys that are always posting these workout videos? How many of you just like the video and just keep going? Raise your hand if you just like the video or you watch it and you just scroll. Raise your hand if you comment when you see him. She put her hand down. Quit. All right, so one day, like I was usually that scroller. I decided to comment one day. Okay, cool. The guy read my comment. He clicked my page. Right? He clicked my page and he saw what we do. From that, he was like, man, I love what you do, yada, yada, yada. Hey, man, I got this thing that I think will be a really good help for you. Let's get on a phone call. Played in the NFL, 130K followers on Instagram. Like, he's got this huge following. Man, I'm like, all right, this is great. So we get on a phone call, and we're on a phone call. It was probably supposed to be like a 25-minute call. We're on a call for about an hour plus. Right? And that's how I found out about Demotu. So what Demotu is a 3D movement analysis app. So basically, I can take somebody, put them through different assessments. I'm going to get your range of motions in your joints. I'm going to get kind of your flexibility. I'm going to get your areas of concern for mobility and stability. And then from there, I can make a direct plan to help you improve those things. All right? What I love about that call was, after that call was over, maybe about an hour later, he shot me a text like, man, my energy is still through the roof right now. Still through the roof right now, right? Because for me, it wasn't just about networking. At that point, I saw something, I said, man, this is cool, right? Because if you had 130K followers, how many of you would reach out to a follower just because they commented? Most people won't, right? Right? So he took time out of his day, so let me develop this relationship, and honestly, the cool part is he gave it to me for a fraction of the price. So now I'm able to take this, so those kids at WIT those foreigners who maybe, because overseas they don't focus on kind of the functional things that we do. They just focus on skills. So I got soccer players, man, they done played in some of these premier European clubs, their junior programs. They done played in all of those. Tell them to do a karaoke, tell them to do a lunge and twist. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, where do we start? Like, no, literally, it's that frustrating some days because I'm like, all right, where do we start? All right. Next, functional forward mechanics. Okay, from multi-joint lifts to dynamic stability drills, we bridge strength, power, and durability with everyday motion. Protocols don't just build muscle; they refine movement patterns and protect joints under real-time stress. Okay, one thing I feel like we've been able to do at our gym that is elite. If you were to roll your ankle, right? How long should you be out? Standard. Someone rolled their ankle. A couple weeks, right? Everybody agree with that? All right. Come to my gym, you'll be out for probably about 3 days. I get you back in 3 days. You might come to my gym not being able to walk. Through the protocols that I use or what I do, you're going to walk out walking, and in 3 days, you're going to be back on the court, the field, whatever it is. If not playing, at least practicing. Okay? As athletes, you all should have heard this at some point. Your best ability is what? There we go. Coach is there. Thank you. Ooh. Who said that first? Who said it over there? What sport you play?
Football.
Smart man. Hey, yep, that is a football saying. Your best ability is availability. All right. Number 3, holistic resilience. Okay. True performance blends mind and body. Okay. I'm a firm believer. Working out, fitness, sports, 75% mental, 25% physical. Your body's just doing what your mind tells it to. That's the purpose of practice. That's why we do the things that we do. That's why we go to school and study within these respective fields, because the mind needs to know so the body can just execute. So if you think about it like this, right? If I got to go to school for 4 additional years to learn a trade, that trade can make me money for 50 more. Right? The mind blends with the body. We weave in yoga flows, targeted mobility sessions, mental skills, and coaching so you recover faster, manage stress better, and stay locked in through long seasons. We live in a time and era where mental health is a thing. It is a real thing. I'm not gonna lie, I grew up in it. I mean, I'm not that much older than y'all. I'm knocking on 30 this year. Nobody laugh, but I know like that's the thing for y'all. Anybody born in the 19 something, they're like old or ancient. Raise your hand if you were born in the 2000s. That should be everybody in here, ain't it? Yeah. Now I do feel a little old. Okay. But we live in a time where mental health matters. Okay. We grew up in a generation where something was wrong with you. They told you rub some dirt on it, go about your day. You kind of just go on about it, right? Gotta develop some tough skin. Okay. Nowadays, athletes, everybody's not able to just bounce around like that. And I understand it. There's so many other factors. There's social media. We're always kind of comparing ourselves to somebody. There's always this outside pressure. There's always these outside forces. We've all grew up in different backgrounds. Some of us had 2 parents. Some of us had no parents. Some of us grew up in the foster care system. Some of us grew up on the streets figuring it out on our own. All right? We've all come from different walks of life. That is the beautiful thing about life. That is the beautiful thing about college. All right? It's so many different people coming together to assimilate together. All right? So we got to develop some mental health things that can help us manage stress and stay locked in. I learned this as a professional quarterback, and I hope all of you learn this now while you're in college. What you're going on in your personal life, you cannot carry that on to the field or the court. All right? Because I tell you one thing, it's hard to play quarterback, and this third is short. You got a blitz coming off the edge. You got a 5-tech right there, 5-tech DN, and you're trying to figure out, what the heck am I getting ready to do? How am I going to read this? Is it cover 2 or is it cover 1? Oh, snap. Man, my best friend was mad at me. I don't have time to think about that. I got to be locked in. I got to be ready to go, right? Because if you're not locked in, then lapses happen. And there's nothing worse, and I've dealt with it, there's nothing worse when you let outside forces take over your personal, like your play, right? I always viewed it like this. When I walk onto the field, okay, nothing else matters. Sports, for me, is a release. That's how I escape my problems. I go work out, I go play sports, because nothing else matters in that moment, okay? It's going to be the same thing as you go through this journey within the professional world. I got days where, honestly, last night was one of those days. Same young lady I told you I was going to Newberry. We were in the gym last night, and we were doing some jumps. And my athletes know, at the top of our jump, our hands are here. At the bottom of our jump, my hands are here. She kept doing box jumps, and she kept getting here and wonder why she can't make the jump. I was getting irritated because it's the same person that trusted me enough to help her earn a scholarship to compete at Division II school. Now she's in here on a random Tuesday not listening to me. That becomes annoying. But because I'm irritated with her, can I take that home and treat my kids with that energy? Can I take that energy home and treat my girlfriend with that energy? No, right? You gotta figure out how to unwind. You gotta figure out how to release that energy no matter what it is, okay? So we gotta make sure we have management of stress, okay? Community leadership. All right, legends aren't made in isolation. Say that one more time. Legends are not made in isolation. We cultivate mentorship circles, peer-led huddles, and community outreach, turning athletes into role models and the gym into a hub of shared purpose. My gym is a hub of shared purpose. I told y'all, it's not just about, I know I can train you with my eyes closed. I can do that. But I want you to feel comfortable enough to come in here to, all right, if you are going through something, talk to me about it. Because 9 times out of 10, whatever you've been through, I've probably been through it already. Because remember, when I was y'all age, my daughter at the time was probably about 2. I was raising a 2-year-old and playing college ball and doing all these things at the same time. All right? Shared purpose. It's okay to talk. It's okay to bounce things off of people, okay? I think one of the coolest things, and I shared this with my athletes around Christmas, one of my parents, she sent me a message and she said, I was asking my son, what does he want for Christmas? And he says, Mom, paying for me to go to Coach Taz is all I need. I'll be honest, it almost brought me to tears. It's powerful. Because think about it, when y'all were in high school and somebody asked you what you want for Christmas, you was ready. You had an arsenal of things. I want this. Or you like, let me think about what I can say I want from this person. Let me tell that person I want this. He said, Mom, as long as you pay for me to go to Coach Taz, that's all I need. All right, community, leadership. All right, number 5, elite level access. We don't settle for second best by integrating big city tools, advanced movement diagnostics, evidence-based nutrition seminars, and guest workshops from industry giants. We prioritize high performance from everyone in our market. Okay, so pretty cool. There's a few things that I've been able to bring here. So she mentioned that her family owns an optical business. Okay, has anybody ever heard of Synaptic? Has anybody ever heard of strobe goggles? Okay, I wish I would have brought a pair with us today. So what these are these strobe goggles that when you put them on, basically they're glasses and there's like a flashing light. Okay, there's like 6 different presets. Each preset has 8 different levels within it. Okay, I've integrated that within our gym in the last few months, and I'm be honest, I've seen a huge change within my athletes from reactionary times, better moods. They're performing a little bit better in school. Right, so like this is kind of the cognitive side of things. I think it's very important. We live in a generation where technology is everything, right? So my physical therapist, I told y'all about Impact Physical Therapy, right? That's what makes him so damn great. Like, who wants okay, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna move our leg like this 10 times, right? I can do that at home. YouTube could have taught me that. Now, you put something on me where I'm just laying here and there's something on my knee and it's making my knee shake like this. Now I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, where did you find this? And then now, I don't have any pain? Oh, this is great, right? So it's like, what can you bring? What can you do? What can you integrate into your local market that makes you one of one? Okay? Not to mention that, like I said, the ankle mobility stuff, being able to get athletes back on the field. That's another thing. One of my longest clients here in Sioux City, that's how I got her. She had a Liz Frank injury in her foot. Young lady has gone into every high school basketball season with the injury. She hasn't had one yet. I'm not going to knock on wood. I don't believe in that stuff. I believe in God. So I don't believe in luck. You keep putting good stuff out there, hey, whatever happens, happens. All right, but that's kind of like, it's things like that that keep people coming back to you, okay? Moving on. All right. So let's talk about some landmark achievements and legendary moments, okay? So these are things, I have things that have happened in the last 6 months. These are all things that have happened kind of before we opened the gym, leading up until before I spoke to that last class in September, okay? So I talked about that Hollywood, the movie Him. Okay, so pretty cool. I was playing for a team in New Mexico, and I get a call one day and say, hey, right, well, when you do things, people are always watching. So I get a call, and he's like, hey, I want you to meet me at this field at this time. He said, I was like, what's going on? I really don't ask no questions. I just need you here at this time. Let me know if you can make it. All right, it was the head coach of the team. I said, all right, I'll make it. I showed up. Okay, I get there, and I get out my car, and I'm at this random park. I'm like, what is going on? Next thing you know, I see a Sprinter van pull up. And there's this light-skinned guy comes out, and then behind him, Marlon Wayans gets out. I'm like, so those of you who don't know, does everybody know who Marlon Wayans is? Has anybody ever seen White Chicks? He was one of those, the dudes in White Chicks, right? Funny guy. White Chicks is one of my favorite movies of all time. I can recite the whole movie line by line. All right? So next thing you know, turns out I'm training him for this upcoming movie. The movie Him, I'm pretty sure everybody saw the commercials about that. It was like a horror movie. It was like 2 quarterbacks based. It was a horror movie derived around quarterbacks, okay? And they basically, one thing they said is we want to look like professional quarterbacks in this movie. Jordan Peele produced the movie, the same guy that produced the movie Us. So this movie had big time implications on it, right? They needed this to be a really big thing. And I'll never forget, I'm telling them I trained them for a little over a month. And I'm telling them, I said, no matter what, we are not going to look like the show All-American out here. I hate All-American. It looks like the worst brand of football that I've ever seen. I kept telling them, like, no matter what, we're going to look dialed in. We're going to look like real quarterbacks. All right? I'm not going to lie. Watching the movie, watching the previews, they look damn good. And it makes me happy. Right? But that's a highlight for me. It was like, all right, I was able to accomplish a lifelong dream. I was able to meet a guy that I've always looked up to, a guy who I really thought was a just all-around great guy. And even funnier, turns out when I tell my parents, my parents actually knew him back in the day, which I thought was pretty cool as well. All right, WNBA draft day takeover. We talked about that, how I trained a young lady who went on to be drafted to the WNBA. For me, that was a very big time thing. I'll never forget it. The best part about that story is on draft day, everybody knows the song by Drake, Draft Day, Johnny Manziel. Anybody ever heard that song before? Yep. So she walked into the gym, I'll never forget playing that song and seeing that smile on her face, that she realized she was getting ready to accomplish one of the biggest things she's ever dreamed of in her life. Right? How many people you think wake up on draft day go work out? Be honest with y'all, not many. It's really not a thing. Not many wake up on draft day and say, you know what, I don't know what time of day my name's gonna get called, but I'm gonna come in here and put some work in and I'm gonna be ready for it. All right? And then lastly, NFL quarterback masterclass during COVID. So during COVID, when I went back home, just to train and figure out what I'm gonna do next, like I said, I kept training for the league. I was preparing myself. I got a chance to work out with guys like J.C. Horn, A.J. Bouye, A.J. Terrell, Kenny Moore, Malcolm Butler, the guy who caught the famous interception against the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Caleb Downs, who played for Ohio State this past year. He's probably getting ready to be a top 5 NFL draft pick. Okay, I got a chance to work out with all of these guys. And what I thought was the best thing about it was, you see that last bullet point, two of the NFL leaders in interceptions that year had trained with me over the summer. All right, and I love it all the time. A.J. Bouye, anytime him and I talk, he calls me the human jug machine. He says, man, catching passes from you all summer, when I came to the game, everything felt like, all right, I can catch this with ease. Those of you who play football who know football, they know DBs cannot catch. They cannot catch. It is terrible. I just say DBs are just receivers with no hands. All right, but also went on to be featured in the news and some other things, okay? Now, moving on, okay? The past 6 months, all right? All of these things you see happen within the past 6 months, okay? Number one, all right, Bishop Heelan historic postseason run. Okay, so I began training some of Bishop Heelan's athletes. Those of you who don't know, it's a private school here in Sioux City. I began training a few of their athletes, their best players, I would say around April or May. And then through then, those guys like what I did, and they started bringing more and more guys. Next thing you know, I'm working with all the quarterbacks, I'm working with all the receivers, okay? I had made one thing I did not like about them, so they have a kid, a running back, he really plays linebacker, he's going to the University of Iowa, okay, named Casey Thomas, okay? The year before, it was hand him the ball 30 times a game. We can't throw the ball. They lost their playoff game. I think the year before, they had less than 100 yards passing. It was just terrible. I told them, if we learn how to pass the ball, if you guys trust me, you show up 25 times from now up until fall camp, I promise you, you'll make it to a state championship. I left it at that, I promise you. But you gotta do your end. You just gotta show up. You show up, I promise you, we will make it to a state championship. What did we go on to do? We lost in the state championship game. Now, they said we will win state championship. I said we will make it. We did make it. All right. But now, if I told them we had to show up 25 times to win that state championship, how many times do you think I need to tell them this year? Anybody? If you were a trainer, what would you say? If you told somebody, hey, you show up 25 times, you'll make it to a state championship, but they lose, what do you need to tell them next year?
26 times.
26? Why not 30?
That too.
You know what I mean?
Higher.
Yeah, go higher. Go big or go home. All right? But through that, what it took was hands-on tactical support from the summer through the season, weekly film reviews. They were in my gym every week watching film. I went to all their home games, traveled on the road with them a few times. Okay, and it was really cool because the way I break down film and the things we do, I'm basically giving them college and NFL preparation on how to attack high school football. Team that had not hosted a home playoff game in 10 years, they won two home playoff games this season alone. All right. Next, moving on, Western Iowa Techs. Okay, so when I first got to WIT, the junior college here in town, okay, injuries was running rampant. It was out of hand. Not only do these kids not know how to move, they were moving so bad that they're getting themselves hurt. I'll never forget, I had a kid doing a breakdown one day, and we're breaking down to a back pedal. He goes and he does this. That's how he broke down to back pedal. Foreigner. He goes, Coach, my knee hurts. I wonder why your knee hurts, buddy. Look how you just broke down. All right? But through my time at WIT over the last 6 months, we've been able to decrease injuries by 76%. Okay? That is a very, very big number. Okay? I'm be honest, sometimes I'm like, I don't know how we did it. I do know how we did it, but it was hard. It was very, very hard. It's still some days I'm like, oh my gosh, still got some more things to fix. Okay? But on top of that, on top of reducing injuries, we've had a few performance and competitive milestones. Women's volleyball this season, they had their best start in school history. They started off 7-0. Men's soccer went on to be number 4 in the country at best. They should have went a little bit further, but they got a little bit complacent. I told them that too. I said, when they got number 4, I said, the hard part just started. It's easy to get ranked. Anybody tell me why it's easy to get ranked? Anybody?
Expectation.
Yeah, nobody's expecting you to win. Right? When you're at the bottom of the totem pole, nobody expects it. When you get to the top, think about Tom Brady. That's why everybody loves Tom Brady. Right? Because he carried that standard year after year after year. Okay? And then lastly, men's basketball, we went on to record our most wins against NJCAA Division I JUCOs. Last year, I think they only won 4 games. We're already over 4 games. All right, we've already, I want to say we beat 3 or 4 Division I JUCOs this year. All right, we got more to go. Okay? Lastly, in-house success. Excuse me. So this is mainly with my grade school kids. Okay, over the last 6 months, I've had 5+ athletes either secure their first major offer or sign. We've had clients signed to Division I. We've had clients signed to Division II. Some NAIAs, as well as we had one JUCO signing. All right, state championship impact. The fall sports. So these are not including winter sports. This is not including basketball. This is just the fall sports. Okay, I've had 10+ athletes that directly train at my gym. Okay, go on and play in the state championship game. I had 4 to go on and win. Okay, I'm a winner. I train winners. I create winners. If you don't want to win, I tell them all the time, you don't got to come work at my gym. All right. Like I always tell people, first session at my gym is always free. All right. And I might run out of time, but I wanted to talk about the business aspect too, just that kind of stuff. But always, if you can, give the first session away for free. If you believe in your product, give it away for free. Okay. Because if you believe in your product enough, if you give them a free service, I guarantee you they'll come back time and time again. You get some people that make people pay for the first session, I promise you it's not a great tactic. Believe in your product enough where you can give it away for free. Okay? As well, so we talked about that. I would say, including the last 6 months, kind of this year, maybe going back a little bit more further than 6 months, I've trained over 200+ athletes out of my gym. Okay? And you'll see my gym towards the end. It's not that big. All right? It's about 2,300 square feet. All right, so most recently, last week, we actually were awarded, you can't say that was terrible color to use. We were North Sioux City's Business of the Month, okay? And just our first year of business, we were awarded Business of the Month. For me, I thought it was what a great way to start the year off. You know, one thing is, it's always great when you feel like you're doing good. You know what I mean? You got to feel it, but when other people recognize the work that you're putting in, to me, that's always the best part. All right, so I really enjoyed that part of it too. All right, and then lastly, you get a chance just to see, that's my gym. What you see on the right, that's pretty much the entire space. 2,300 square feet, got about 15 yards of turf in there. Really open space, got weight racks, slam balls, kettlebells, dumbbells, treadmill, air bikes, sleds. All right, very functional space, okay? But what I've learned is how to master that space. My first brick and mortar gym, learn how to master that space because bigger and better is coming. But what I love, what you see on the left, that's what we started with. Honestly, we didn't even start with that. This place, it was just, the walls is what you saw, but it was just dirt. There's no concrete, it was just dirt and studs. And we were able to make it our own. Everything you see on the right, we put it together by ourselves. I always laugh at this, but this thing is higher than what you think it is. It's like, it's probably about 5 feet, but I built that entire thing by myself. Never built anything like that in my life. I always say my grandpa's probably smiling from heaven right now because I am no builder at all. All right, so before we conclude, because I know we're almost running out of time, all right, I want everybody to close their eyes. Close your eyes again. Keep them closed, keep them closed. Okay? I'm going to ask that you do this before you leave. Okay? All right, we talked about what 3 things, okay, would it have took for you to get to that stage. Okay? 3 things that it would have took to get you to that point. That's what we started off with. Okay? I want you to just think. You're going to write down for each one that you wrote, what is something that you can do? So underneath those 3 things, you're going to put the word today. And then for each bullet point, you're going to write down what is something that you can do today to get you closer to that goal. All right? What is something that you can do today to get you closer to that goal? If it's not today, something you can do within the next 2 weeks to 30 days to get you closer to that goal. When you're ready, go ahead and fill it out. Please make sure your name is on that paper because I am going to take those papers with me. And I got a bunch, so I'm going to go ahead and pass out business cards. If you want it, feel free to take it. If you don't want it, I wouldn't be mad if you do it either. But they say don't give out business cards anymore because that's what half the people do anyway.